Hi all, welcome back. Action Kharkov, German Soul, part 36. I think maybe the last part I might have called it 34 and it was 35, I think. I think I missed one. Anyway, maybe put a wee comment in there about that. It's not a big deal though, is it? Right, so trying to catch up on a couple of videos. 31 was quite a long one. That's where I was at. 32 was quite short, so I managed to get 31, 32 looked at. Right near the end of 31 though, I noticed a mistake. Clumsy again. Sure some of you probably spotted that, maybe most of you to be honest. It was moving in on the attack on Volchansk, and it was when we were adding the reserves. Now, third tank's activated again, so I've decided I'm going to leave this. However, nothing changed. Well, I say nothing changed. The results of both combats in here and where was the other unit? Was it in here, the 48th Corps unit? Yeah, I think it was in there. The result of both these combats would have been the same. Well, this one pulled out, so that would have been the same. He would have still got eliminated. The results would have actually been D2A1. However, with the NKVD and the tank battalion, it made it D3A0. So they didn't take any hits, which they didn't in the previous one. Anyway, I think we had an unfulfilled hit, and D3 was enough to eliminate that guy. So that was that. And the mistake that was made was placing the 3-step unit. I eventually realised I had a 3-step unit in the reserves, and there was 2 units in here, and there was a 2-step unit in here, there was 2 units in here, and I left the 2-step unit up to look, and I mean, you can clearly see it's a 1-step unit underneath, and I put a 2-step unit back down, and I say, oh, he's a 3-step unit, he can't deploy in there because there's 2 units in there. However, there was 2 units but only 3 steps. So I missed this. I'll deploy them in here. What that then means is we deploy another reserve in here, so we've added 2 reserves, whereas if I'd placed them in here, there would have been 3 units, 6 steps. I would have had 2 spaces there, so 2 reserves would have been placed in there. So that would have removed one of the reserves that got placed in the other hexes for the battle against the 48th Corps unit. And that's what made that slight adjustment to the hits in the 48 Corps. And of course, this one didn't matter because we pulled out anyway. That was the one thing though. Would it have made it overwhelming sooner? Well, it was adding another 2 strength. Yeah, that would be annoying. Give me a second. Okay, that's worse than I thought. This is a problem with these that just have a knock-on effect. In actual fact, adding the reserve that I didn't add would have took us to overwhelming attack odds. So we then wouldn't have drawn a combat tactic. Although we didn't use the auxiliary card, because once we drew the combat tactic, then we, at the position I thought the position we were at, we weren't at overwhelming then, drew the combat tactic. That gave us overwhelming, but we wouldn't have drawn that combat tactic. So it would have been drawn in the other combat, and he drew a combat tactic too, and that's when I'm going to have to say, we're just going to have to take note of this and move on, because cards are going to be, I would have to put the cards back, and yeah, it's too much work now. And it's not only that, if third tank hadn't had another activation, I would have done, but they have. So they've moved on and got round Belgorod as well. So I'm just going to have to take note of this, and I mean, the results of the combat I think would have still been the same. The combat up here, he wouldn't have drawn tank brigade, but he would have drawn what was it, artillery and air power, was it? It was the one that had 2, the mobile group pop-off one. I can't remember, it's going that far back now, isn't it? I mean, it's on the video, but So I suppose it's technically possible that a different result could come from that combat. But I mean, I was going to start looking through that, and then I thought, well, why don't bother looking through that grant, because you're not going to be able to fix that without wiping out some, wiping out a few parts of video footage for it. So I think I'm just going to have to let that one go, I'm afraid. It's just too much to fix. I thought I was getting away with it there, but, well, getting away with it to the point that the results were going to be the same and no cards were drawn out of not so much out of sequence, it just were drawn, because, well, it would, to be honest, it would take things back, because I wouldn't have been drawing a card for that, so I would have been a card behind. We would have still used the auxiliary card that time, but then the next again impulse for the Soviets would have been drawing a completely different card. So if I go back and try and fix that, we're having to wipe out, like I say, probably 2 or 3 videos. So just try to think what the outcome. Tank Brigade adds strength though, doesn't it? And they would have had 1 less reserve. Let me go and glance at it. Okay, just had a glance at what I think would have happened. The card that they would have applied in other combat was it was Air Power and Partisans. Now the attack was in a clear hex, so the Partisans wouldn't have applied. It would have given them the extra chip pool to get the large attack, which I'd taken away when I look back on it, because the lack of the unit had only left them at 6 chip pools, but because that combat tactic to give them 2 chip pools. I know you're maybe not understanding and following this, because it's all swirling about in my head and it's all a bit upside down. So all the chip pools that I drew would have applied. And I'm saying that because when I look back on it at first I thought, right, that large attack chit is not going to apply anymore, Grant, because they're only drawing 6 chits. But now that I've seen that they would have drawn different combat tactic, that would have given them 7 chits. And they wouldn't have had the Tank Brigade, which is the one that negates a hit to themselves. However, they still would have the NKVD, which increases a hit. So the results would have been D4, A2, with the NKVD added on. So D3, A2, and then add the NKVD on for D4, A2. That would have eliminated the unit and had 1 unfulfilled hit. So it would have reduced the A2 to an A1, which would have meant that the units would have took 1 hit. I'm not going to go back and take that back because and try and take a hit off them, because the cards would have all been messed about. I'm just going to leave it. I've noted it here, and that's the best I can do without really causing myself some real pain and rewinding so much. I hope you understand that. But that wee mistake like that, and it just shows you how it throws you. Of course, the other thing here is, if I'd been more up to date with watching my video footage, I would have seen that sooner. Or even if I just uploaded the video and let you guys maybe see it, one of you more than likely would have spotted it, and then I wouldn't have then maybe had this other impulse with this third tank, and I would have been able to just fix it before that other impulse. But because we've had that other impulse with third tank, and well, also the fact the cards would have been out of sequence, maybe I could have just done a bit of shuffling in, but anyway, so I'm just going to leave it at that. It's a bit disappointing, but yeah, I don't think it's had any. I don't think it would have benefited me. Well, like I've just said, third tank would have took a hit, but the knock-on effect for that might have balanced out as well. So I can't really say if anybody's gained, if it's either me or the AI's gained any benefit from the mistake or not. I'd like to think probably not. There's nothing much in it, but and in fact maybe we are losing out a bit because they should have an extra step loss. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, I'll leave it at that, and we'll just move on and just have to accept that. Like I say, if I can watch through the videos I'm probably going to have a trip to my mum's tomorrow again, and plan was to take the train again, so probably going to be able to catch up on any footage. Well, I've still got 33, 34, 35 to kind of look at. This is 36, so, and I'll probably get a 36 and maybe even a 37 done tonight, so there'll be plenty there to look at. But I prefer spotting the mistakes myself, that's the thing, you know, but I'm getting that much time just now to record that it's not easy to record it all and then watch it back. Yeah. Right, anyway, Graham, let's move on and you'll not have as much to watch back. Right, well, it was our impulse. Things are starting to get rather rough, aren't they? I was thinking, when I got up today, I was thinking of the position I was in, trying to sort of work out where we were, and it might have even been when I was watching back some footage, that I really feel that I want to move this guy into Kharkov. I don't know. Just it now feels like. Was that not the last? No, it wasn't the last impulse, was it? We brought the core Auschwitz back. It just feels like I wasted that second SS card though, moving this guy to Belgorod, moving this guy to Kharkov, and I could have moved this guy into Kharkov and then just dropped this guy across the river. Now the only way to do this is with an any one unit move. Okay, I was kind of like, well, we'll see what the Soviets do, but I maybe should have realised how it was going to pan out and sort of, jumped on that a little bit. Well, our card options are, well, we'll set up to deploy the core Rouse units. Okay, we could do that, but we're giving up on Belgorod now. We lost the other core Rouse unit, didn't we? Yeah, it's gone. So we've got a core Rouse unit up there, but I don't think... Well, you've got the two options of deploying them, haven't you? I don't think I could deploy one up there within 3 anyway. How does that work, though? Within units, army area, that's fine. At least within 3 hexes of a unit in the same core, if not possible, within 3 hexes of a unit in the same army. Right. Well, I'd like to say that. Can they not consider being in the 4th Panzer Army for that? Because there's only core Rouse, that's it. I know it doesn't apply to them deploying. It only applies to them. However, maybe you've not looked at this since that. Maybe that was just the Soviet. So yeah, it says. Excuse me. I've got a bit of a cough coming on. It's been lingering a bit. Page 5, talking about units. German Army Detachment Kempf, Core Rouse, and then it's got in brackets, considered part of 4th Panzer Army for command purposes, independent for deployment purposes. So that means, that kind of means that if I'm deploying them, they are core Rouse and they're not part of an army when deploying. But I'm not going to be able to get within 3 and be in supply, etc. Am I? No, it's going to be impossible to deploy a unit within 3 of that guy. I recall something similar like this coming up in any match in Ardennes for me. And asking a question, I think. You've got strategic reserve deployment as well, so maybe you just have to look at that. I would consider that the rule might be allowing you to, if you can't deploy within 3 of the core, to deploy within 3 of a 4th Panzer Army, but you know, the way it's worded and what I just read to you about units there seems to suggest that you only consider them 4th Panzer Army for when you're actually using commands, not when you're deploying. So I just kind of feel that maybe that might be allowed, but yeah. I'll just skip on by that. I could start asking questions. There was another question come up from me. It was I was gonna. Right, hang on. Well, let's just finish what we're talking about here. I think what we'll do here is, unless I ask the question, well, it might be worthwhile asking actually, because I could then be allowed to. Right, let's get these cards out of the way. Well, these 2 cards are for deploying the units, right? Either 40 core, and we know they're going up there somewhere. Well, they don't need to go right up. I mean, as long as they're in their area, they could be. No, they do. No, not with strategic. With strategic reserve deployment, I could possibly get them down here somewhere. I think they only need to be 5 away from an enemy unit. So there is possibilities of bringing them further down if I want to. And the core rouse we've already looked at. The other 2 cards in my hand are 3rd Corps, which we've still got to pull out on. I can't really see that being anything that's going to happen. So what was the talk of that one? Was maybe possibly moving it was possibly moving this unit in. Trying to get a bit cheeky, and we would get a couple of we'd get the disperse marker removed and we get an IP place, so not terrible. And then the last card, well, if I'm going to do an any 1 unit move, it's going to be with that card. If not, he could bring back a reserve from the eliminated units box into the reserve box. Okay, so yeah, I may go and pop a question here. Because I've got another one I would like to ask as well. It might just be straightforward, the answer to it, but I'll show you in a sec. Yeah, because we've got to deploy in this area, fair enough, but you can see there is a 4th Panzer Army at there. And if we were to be within 3... No, that doesn't work either. So, but here we could be within 3, maybe 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we could deploy them there, which might be a better place for me deploying them. Because remember, if I do go strategic, I've got to be 5 hexes away, and I don't care about anything else. Admittedly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would take the infantry units. If I could get them there. They're not going to get into Kharkov with a movement, though, are they? Hang on. If they were there, 1, 2, that doesn't reach. No, they can't get through the woods, can they? That's annoying. Yeah, whereas if the guys had been across the other side, we'd have been able to. Or if we'd been able to come in from that side, it would have worked, yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I might pop that question out there, because it looks like something worthy of asking. Right, the other one is, I'm going to set up a wee sort of looky at this question, just using a couple of units, so hang on. Right, I think something like this might do. It's this sort of came up. Well, it wasn't the same situation, but when I was watching it back, I thought, right, why are you not sort of saying, what if this happened, Grant? Because the situation I had was right, hang on. I think the situation I had was something similar like that, where the 2 German units were adjacent to each other. And it's movement method 12 we're looking at. 9.21, movement method 12. And it's strength and potential attack. And yeah, I talk about this in my playthrough. That must have been part 31 actually, I think. Yeah, I think it was 31. So if not adjacent to a German unit, and sorry, these are active. We've activated third tank, and hang on, I've got them. Yeah, they're all active. So he's active as well, right? So if not adjacent to a German unit, move to a hex adjacent to a German unit to which another active Soviet unit is also adjacent. And then a unit starting adjacent, blah blah blah. But that's not the part. It's that first part. So here's this unit ready to move, and he's looking. This is an active unit. Yeah, to which another active Soviet unit is also adjacent. So we've got an active Soviet unit adjacent to this guy, and an active Soviet unit adjacent to this guy. So we're moving adjacent to. Well, we've got the choice between two. Now it doesn't give you any preferences there, but of course you think, well, in this situation, 9.25 is going to take care of it because you're going to look 9.25 round any one of these two units, and I'm either going to move into there. And obviously if I could get round the back, fair enough. So that's maybe quite clear, and you don't need to tie break first, right? That's maybe quite clear. But see the setup I had there at first, this is why I was a bit surprised I didn't sort of ask my question here. What if you've got this situation and you want to move adjacent to a German unit to which another Soviet unit is also adjacent? I can only think you've got to look at tiebreakers, because we can't start 9.25 and round this and this, surely. You know, I mean, they're totally separate. They're not attached in any way. We need to decide between which one first, and then 9.25 round it, do we not? So I can only think we would have to look at tiebreakers. Tiebreakers would say whatever they would say. Closest to the unit's objective marker. And remember, you'd be tie-breaking here first before you then looked at 9.25, so that's quite interesting too, I suppose. So, yeah, let's move on a bit further with that then. I don't think I need to go any deeper into it, but if we were sort of saying, right, which attack are we going to? I mean, it's called strengthen potential attack, and you can see this unit's and could be attacking this turn. This unit here could be attacking this turn. How do we decide which unit that one goes to support? There's no preference at all. I mean, if we looked at 9.25 right now, you know what? It could be a possibility, but I think you need to be told that, really. I mean, 9.25 does tell you when ending a move adjacent to a German unit, prefer. So then, if we'd done it, well, let's just look. If we'd done it this way, a hex within the Soviet limit, a hex that would cause German unit to become surrounded. Well, let's just say we could surround this guy, but we couldn't get into this hex to surround that guy. Would that then mean that this becomes our target? Yeah, I don't know. I still feel in this position here that we have to tiebreak between these two, and the fact that there's no preferences at all to guide you to one of these two makes me wonder if you should be just looking straight at 9.25 and finding between these two. It's not between these two. It could be between it could be between 12 hexes that you're trying 9.25, because 6 hexes round each unit, really. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a couple of questions there to ask. I mean, it could just be that you're meant to tiebreak this first, but just with normal tiebreakers. You just kind of feel like there should have been a preference in there, though, if that was the case. You know, prefer, I don't know, the weakest target or something, you know. If this guy's, this guy's a 2 and this guy's a 3, and you're looking at a potential attack, or strongest sort of force. So, I mean, what is it? This is 1 against 1 at the moment. This is 2 to 1. So maybe coming on this guy to, like, strengthen the attack, or maybe the other way about, in the fact that the odds are, it's not giving you anything, is what I'm saying there. So yeah, curious to know about that. So I might pop that in a question as well, make it a wee double header. Yeah. Okay, I've been away and popped my two daft questions of the day out. See if we get see what we get. Okay, right. I was just looking there again before I press record, thinking again about bringing this guy back into Kharkov, and I feel like it's leaving this guy on his own a bit, and they're going to get round the back and get him surrounded. So I'm kind of still reluctant. And then I thought, well, what is the real scare here in Kharkov? And the real scare, I think, is third tank. Now they've activated a couple of times already this impulse. I don't think we've seen the Stavka card, and I don't think we've had the Vornes front card, so that could activate him again. But I've got to assume that they could activate again. So what would happen? Well, what would happen is Belgorod would get overrun. This unit would get eliminated. Well, actually, that was a strange one, wasn't it? That guy wasn't allowed to attack, was he? Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting one, actually. Because he was attacking from the VPX, and there's only 2 steps there. So, possibly not, but I suppose my worry is, am I going to get any more grief around Kharkov if third tank activate again? Looking up to the reserves, there's no third tank reserves, so that's a plus. Just a couple of 40th Army reserves, one which is armoured, and a 6th Army reserve. Which, yeah, I'm worried about them activating again while that guy's dispersed. I just don't think there's an urgency. Because I was thinking, even if they do attack this and eliminate it, a 2 hex advance is going to be into here. That still does give me time to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into Kharkov for that unit. If Popov activate again, I have no idea. Well, they might have a go at this guy again, and it's good to have this guy at the side of him, because I say if I do move that guy around now, there's a chance. Well, this is rough terrain for them getting through, admittedly. So maybe somebody wouldn't get round about. And there's a Popov unit underneath there though as well, isn't there? So I think even with the third tank activating, I don't think we're going to be in. I don't think we're then not going to be able to move this guy around. I mean, because there's not a gap in here while he's here as well, and that's important. So I think I'm going to hold off on the any one unit move just yet. I'm not saying I might not do that near the end of turn. So what are you going to do, Grant? Deploy the core Rouse units. It does very little for me. Deploy the 40 core units. That also, I mean, it gets them on the map. Yes, I'm going to do that before the end of the turn, but it doesn't do anything. So I think that then tends to make me think that I want to play this. And okay, this is the one that's got pull out on it though as well. But it's going to get this guy in a slightly safer position. I mean, I'm not saying by doing that he's going to survive, but while he's like that, he's not in such a good place. What does it do again? Can't move, attack, advance, or receive IP. If all defending units start an attack disperse, combat tactics can't be applied, and hits incurred by attacker are reduced by 1. Units that can retreat only 1 hex, so I can only retreat 1 hex as well, and they get to reduce a hat. No increase in their combat chance then? Mustn't be. Okay, that's maybe not quite as bad as I thought then. Supply is obviously worse, isn't it? And then we would have this option. I mean, at first I was looking that again, thinking, do I want to move this unit in here? And then I'm thinking, oh, we could also attack that guy, but I'm not so sure I would do that if I moved in. And you've also got to remember that when I move in there is a gap opening up here. I know things have moved away, but it would let these 6 army units come around, you know. So Yeah, there's always something, eh? There's always something. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it might be better bringing this guy down to support this guy. Right, I'm thinking too much on this. I'm going to play this card, right? I'm going to activate all units in third core. Okay, that's me activated all my units. I'm not going to do anything with this guy. He's going to build an IP. I'm not going to move that guy. There's not a lot I'm going to do. I am going to move this guy into there. Now, okay, I've said it now. There is a little bit of a gap opening up there. So be it. But I think I'm going to make a bit of a move on here. Now, I'm not going to attack this guy. Now, it might well be if 6th Army activates again. They're going to have to be careful, though, that they'll want to put this guy in supply. But, yeah, because him moving from there to there, probably still protecting, is he, a minute? Because of the terrain round about. That's annoying. Yeah, that is annoying. Because I think this unit moving into here obviously would then give him a supply trace. That's what I'm basically trying to do, is just lock him in. And can I get... No, I can't get in there obviously. No, that's the best I could do with that. I think I'll do this though, and just... I'm not, like I say, I'm not going to attack. We've got 8 to 3, so only 2 to 1 odds, and it's only 2 chip pools, so it's not worth it. I'm better trying to put them out of supply, I think, because they will have to check supply at the end of this. Well, at the beginning of the next turn. But I get the feeling that maybe even this first guard unit, if he can, yeah, he could give them a supply trace as well. So I get the feeling that's probably what's going to happen. But well, it means they've got to go and do that, doesn't it? Right, so I think that's all I'm going to do. And yeah, it maybe doesn't seem that great, but well. So we're going to build an IP on this guy, and I won't bother turning him round because that's all we're going to do. And then finally, the last part of the phase is to remove the dispersal from him, and then that's that. And then this guy keeps his IP because he didn't do anything. Okay, so nothing startling, but well, yeah. So now we've got 3 cards left in our hand. Remember, we can only pass when we've got 1 left. Yeah, so that's 33 minutes, and that's about all you've done, Grant, isn't it? Apart from talk about all the other things. Right, okay. No, missed the Vorness front marker again. It's still in Valky, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, let's push on. I've still got time at the moment. I'm not sure when that might change, but let's push on and get the next Soviet impulse started. We're at 33 minutes or so. Yeah, I'll get started anyway. Okay, so, well, I don't know what I'm hoping for. Let's just turn the cards over. 40th Army, Mobile Group Popov, yeah, here we go. So, yeah, this is a primary. So this is going to be an auxiliary card. The event is from turn 5, so not going to apply. Remember, they've got 2 reserves as well, 40th Army, so, well, that's probably going to be, unless this gets used for artillery, of course, which it may well get used. Then that core Rouse unit's probably on his way out, and 40th Army are maybe making a move slightly further down. However, that's going to sit there. We are going to activate all units in Mobile Group Popov, and let's go and see what that's going to bring about. Right, there's all the Mobile Group Popov units activated. Got this guy up here that we've just surrounded, and then the bunch of them down here. This is there's a 69th Army unit in there, so he doesn't count. No reserves, and artillery and auxiliary cards box as a combat tactic. So there we have it. Right, now southwest front marker. Now we did just open a space up here, but it's pretty sure it's 2. So there's not a unit in it. It's not a German unit with a Soviet unit around about it. But again, there's no gap here, so they would have to come around. You can see, even if we take this mechanised unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you can see I can't come around there. Still no gap here. The gap's further along. Yeah, so it's still going to sit where it is. So that's fine. Right. Movement method 1. Let's see if I can maybe move through this a bit quicker. I felt like I was moving a bit quicker last night, so it might have just been me thinking wrong thoughts. But anyway. Right, so take a VP hex. Right, there's still not anything that's open to be taken. So no. So, and yeah, you're not adjacent for the urban infiltration or anything like that. There's nothing empty that they're close by able to take. Right, okay. 2, adjacent to German VPX near objective. Move to a hex closer to or within 4 hexes of the unit's objective marker and adjacent to German VP hex in ascending order. Unit 1 is here. Now this is obviously his closest. Now we've taken that now. So Zimyev, yeah, so he's wanting to get adjacent to Zimyev if he can. However, there's only space for 1 unit in there. There might be a 1-stepper in here though, yeah. 2 1-steppers. Hope I didn't miss that before. I think I would have looked. There's quite a few 1-step units that could look at this, couldn't they? So unit 1, can he get adjacent? I mean, it's going to be within 4 of his objective marker. So, well, like we've already said, there's not a space there. And this is, yeah, it's just not good terrain to get in it, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's 5 more across into the woods for a mechanised unit. Yeah, it's just not possible, is it? And then moving right around to Kharkov. I don't think, yeah, no, surely not. No. And then obviously Volchansk has been taken as well. We lost Volchansk and Chugev's away. So it is really only Zimyev that he's looking at. But I don't think he can get adjacent, so... However, one of the 1-step units is going to be able to do that. So that rules Unit 1 out from this. Unit 2's next. Well, he's going to walk in there then, isn't he? Because he's 4 hexes, he's not going to move. So he has a Soviet unit starting adjacent to German VPX within 4 hexes of his objective marker and unable to move to a more preferred VP hex. So he's not going to move by this method or any subsequent methods. I mean, obviously, Kharkov would actually be probably a more preferred hex, but he can't get around to that. We've still got this German unit in here, remember, it's not that he can go just down the road here. So he's going to lock in, however he will try and 9.25, but that's the only hex he can get. I mean, even he can't get in here, it's 4 to move into there and then another 5 to get across there. So I think he's walking in there, not doing anything else. But like we've said, there is a space for a 1-step unit in there. So who would be next? So it'll be unit 16. Well, do you know, a 1-step unit. So can he get in there then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can. Yeah, he's not able to get around to Kharkov either, is he? No. But he can actually get in here. So that's where he's going to go. He's the next in order. So I'm going to move on. Oops. Well, we know he's a 1-stepper, so I'm going to move on from there 1, 2, 3, crossing the Donats into a clear hex, 4, and then 5. Actually, I'll just chuck him on top for now. Yeah, is that wise? Yeah, I think it's fine. No, actually, that might make me forget that he's there. So I'll put him down below. So that is 6 steps now in here. And this unit on top. The unit below is already moved, and he's set. He can't move. He can attack if it comes down to it, though. Right, and then on to unit 17. No. 18 is surrounded. 20, no. 22, no. Like was said, there's no more space. Yeah, I don't. Oh, is it any easier coming? No, we can't come from there though, because that's from zone of control. So you have to come in this way. The 17 will be able to come in then, Grant. What are you talking about? Yeah, because you can always move 1 hex. Can't you? That's the same in this game, isn't it? Well, it's fine anyway. It's one. No, it's only. There's only 1 for him to cross the Donats and 2 into the woods, so 3 movement. So yeah, he'll come in here because he's within 4. 1, 2, 3. Although it's not getting him closer to his objective, he's within 4, and he's able to move adjacent to a German VP hex. Yeah, works for me. And yeah, like I said, these guys cannot though. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, it's silly numbers, and they can't come in from that side, which wouldn't probably make much difference, to be honest. So that was, well, backtracking to 17, and then 18, like we said, is surrounded. 20 and 22 cannot. There's no. Well, there is a space in there still, but yeah, it's not able. Hang on. We're forgetting about the units under here, Grant. Oh, well, that's fine. That's 23. So we've got 23 and then 26 to come. Because unit 1 couldn't find a move. I'll just leave them like that because more than likely 23 and 26 are the same, aren't they? Yeah, they are. They can't get around into this hex. There's no more space in there, so yeah, that's fine. So that's everybody. So move method 3 is open supply line. Right. Well, we know there's a guy in trouble now. Up here. He wouldn't have the movement, would he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, he wouldn't. So none of them have got any ability to help him. He would help himself if he could, but he can't move. So that's that. So just scurrying about. Yeah, there's nothing else there I can see is in trouble with supply apart from this guy, but we can't really help him. So let's move on. Right, move methods 4 to 9 is not going to apply to armoured units. Right, this guy is not armoured and neither is he, so what I'm going to do is put this guy down the bottom because these 2 are going to be able to activate with 4 to 9, and this guy as well is mechanised infantry. He's not armoured, and it does specifically say armour, not, it says supplied armoured units skip the method. So although this guy's probably armoured on the other side, at the moment he's just mechanised infantry. So my take on that is he can still move. Interesting. But it does, that's what it says. I mean, sure, it would say supplied mechanised units, wouldn't it? Right, and any of them in the town? No. No, it's just this Chugev, but that's 3rd tank. Yeah. Okay. So there's like 2 units there, 1 there, and then the surrounded one, which isn't going to be able to move anyway. Right, so step 4 is cause surround in descending order. So we've got 26 here. Can we cause surround with this infantry unit? Let's bring them up top, Grant, just in case. Well, we did talk about a gap being put in here so that something could maybe come around here, but he's not got the movement for that. No, I'm going to skip that. What is the unit underneath? 23. So he's got the 6 movement though, but yeah, 1, 2, 3. He's not getting round there. Okay, no. Unit 22 to cause surround. No. I think this guy's surrounded anyway, isn't he? He is, yeah. Yeah, so nothing there. And then 18 can't move anyway, he's surrounded himself. Right, step 5, to Soviet VP Hex. Move to an empty garrison Soviet VP Hex targeted for the active front into which the German unit is proximate or German supply is traceable. So, we looked at this before though, and I think that's the reason that guy then went there. Now, coming next turn, you know I said he might be the one that goes and gets this guy a supply trace. It's a bit unfortunate, but it doesn't start till turn 4 that the restriction kicks in and says don't allow supply to be traceable to that hex, which I think if he moved there, we would possibly then be able to trace German supply. But that doesn't kick in until turn 4, so... And by that time, well, this guy will be either able to trace supply or not. Anyway, that was jumping off what we're talking about there, Grant. So yeah, there's no Soviet units going in proximate or even German supply traceable to them. We've got here, you've got Solvance as well, that's empty, but yeah, you're not going to be able to trace German supply to that. You need to come right the way around. It's too far. I think we looked at it actually, didn't we? So let's skip on by that. And there's no armoured units sitting in any VP hexes. Hey, wait a minute. This guy. Yes, stop a minute, Grant. So the first part of movement 5 there was any unit. The second part, and it specifically says Soviet infantry unit. Sure that just means infantry, not mechanised infantry. It does say Soviet infantry unit, and if you look at the unit types on page 5, infantry is infantry. You know, it's the symbol that's tells you it's infantry. And then it says mechanised infantry, and it actually says mechanised infantry. So if that wanted to allow mechanised infantry, it would have to have said Soviet infantry or mechanised or infantry. Yeah. So it's Soviet infantry unit, if unable to move to an unoccupied Soviet VP hex, move to a VP hex occupied only by Soviet armoured units, regardless of German proximity or supply trace. An infantry unit starting in a VP hex stack with only armoured units does not move by this or any subsequent method. And I'm looking at this here because this is indeed, and remember how we were saying this guy also he couldn't attack? Well, he's now going to be able to if one of these, well, actually maybe they can't reach, because that guy's not going to count because he's mechanised infantry. Please tell me if I've got that one wrong, but I see it as just infantry. So it would have to be this guy. He's not going to make it, is he? 1, 2, breaking zone of control. 3, 4. He's one short. 1, 2. He's one short. Yeah. Obviously, if one of these had been an infantry unit, That would have happened there. And this guy already moved in, or yeah, because he was sitting there, he would have done it as well, but he's already moved with movement method 2, isn't he? And this other guy under here moved as well. He's armoured as well anyway. Right, well, it's not going to happen then. That's what would, if there was approximate unit, infantry unit to that, it would have moved in there. Even though it's the other front, doesn't really specify there, it just says a VP hex. Okay, right, never mind then. Right, move method 6, adjacent to VP, to German VP hex. No. No, because we would have done it with move method 2. Yeah, let's move on. 7, adjacent to German unit and logistics hex. This guy is in a logistics hex. None of these units are proximate to that. So let's, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, they're not. Right, adjacent to German unit, movement method 8. Move to an unoccupied hex that is adjacent to German unit and not adjacent to Soviet unit, adjacent to that same German unit. I don't think so. Yeah, don't worry, because he's getting around this, but I mean, that would, if we could get around there, we would have been surrounding that guy, wouldn't we? Well, I suppose this guy. Again, I don't even got the movement. There is a mech unit there, though, isn't there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can't get adjacent to that. I can't get around adjacent to that. These two would need to get around the back. Same, well, this guy's, yeah. No, I'm not seeing anything there either. Let's move on. Right, 9 doesn't kick in until turn 4. So, movement method 10, that brings in back in the armoured units again. And these last 3 go in ascending order, so I'm going to put these back in order. So we've got 1, 23, 26, I think it was, and this is 20 and 22. Because these have not moved. That's moved. Well, the one underneath moved. He's locked in to move as moved. So movement arrows. Yeah, no, and no. Yeah, no, nothing with movement arrows. Move closest to front objective. Move the X closer to the front objective. Not the same distance. I mean, these are all within 2. They cannot get within 1. No. So that stack I'm not even going to look at. Well, I've just looked at, shall we say. Right, unit 20 though. And I know there's some underneath there that would go in a different order. But you can see that none of them can get within 1. We can't. Right, you maybe can, Grant. What are you talking about? Why did I not think I could get in there? Right, hang on then. Yeah. So it's 1, 2. Yeah, he can get in there, Grant. Is that something that's been missed before? I don't know. I mean, because I can go 1, 2, unless was our. We had a German unit there, didn't we, at some point? I think they did come across. But I don't know. Well, you can go 1, 2 up the road here, break in zone of control, obviously, and then 3, 4 across the Donetsk and 1 into clear hex. So yeah, he is, and that gets him 1 hex closer. Now, he would need to check 9.25, but this is an empty hex, so my guess is, and the choices would be between where he is and this hex. He's not able to get into the other two. So yeah, that's not going to be, I don't need to check that, it's going to be empty hex. So 1, 2 braking zone and control, 3, 4, 5 across the donuts into the clear hex, now adjacent to his front objective marker, or now 1 hex away from his front objective where he was 2 before. So in actual fact, these other guys, well, what is, yeah, because it's going to end up in compass direction, isn't it? 9.25, surrounded, no, not adjacent to a blah 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 blah, no, it doesn't apply. Not empty, not occupied by an active unit. Yeah, okay. So, and then tiebreakers would be closest to the objective marker. Well, that, then you have tiebreaks for that, it's not even compass direction. So, well, I shouldn't really be doing that though, Grant, because that's 23 and we need to do 20 first. Because in actual fact, 20 might come into here. Okay, so that was unit 1 moved, and he's moved closer to his objective marker, right? So who's next? 18. 18 can't move, he's surrounded, okay? Like, let's forget about him. Unit 20 now. Can he get closer to his objective marker? Yeah, I think Unit 20 does want to go in there, so that's him getting two hexes away from the objective. He can't get into here, which is also 2 hexes away. He can't get into there, which is 1 away. So yeah, I think he's going to move to here. He's leaving somebody behind anyway. So I'm going to put him down the bottom because he's now moved. Now 22 would indeed be next. Now there's not any room in here at the moment, unfortunately, for him. There will be in a sec, because I think that 23 is going to move, but because 22 is going to move first, where can he go? Right, he's got 3 possible options because he can't get in here, and these are all 3 away. He's at 4 away at the moment. So none of them are adjacent to German units, so we're just going to tie rate closest to the unit's objective marker, an empty hex, they're all empty, hex furthest in the compass direction, so it's going to be this one. Now he's leaving that hex empty, so don't think there's anything to worry about, but no, this guy is surrounded, but it wasn't him that was holding surround, so that's fine. So that's 22. 23. Like we say, he can come in here too, but he's got a preference between the two. He would 9.25 check and find nothing. And then he would tie break to the westernmost. So he would go in there, and then in actual fact, 26, I thought it was going to stay there because that's empty hex, but it's not an empty hex anymore because unit 20 went in. So he's actually going to come in here as well. Again, after checking 9.25, not finding any, tie breaking to the westernmost hex. And there's 3 units in there, but only 5 steps. Okay. Done. Is that everybody? Well, apart from unit 18, but he can't move, so there's no point looking at him. Even with the next movement method. No. Right, can we push on here? Well, yeah, it's only an hour, Grant. We should be able to get combat sorted. I don't think, I'm not sure there's going to be, yeah, probably this guy, yeah. Okay, let's have a look at it. Hi all, right, I just had us on pause there for some hours. And just trying to catch up. I think we were just about to do attach hits, then, everybody's moved, yeah, apart from this guy who was surrounded. Yeah, okay, so doing attach checks, Unit 1. So checking here, no reserves, no assault coordination. We've got artillery in the assault. What is it? Auxiliary card SWAT. So you can only check this guy. We've got 2, 4, and 6 is 10, 12, 18, 21. Now the guy underneath is 69th Army, so he's not coming into it. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 21. So we've got 21 to 4. It's got +1 for the IP. Sorry, let's get zoomed in a little bit. Sorry about that. See things a bit better. 21 to 4, +1 for the IP, 21 to 5. Adjacent to supplied unit, so it's 21 to 6. That's good enough, isn't it? It's 3 to 1. Now there's only this coming across the river, so I'm not getting a +1 for that. That's why I felt it might have been better to have got this guy across the river. I mean, I really do feel now that I should have abandoned Zemiev and brought that guy across the river. I mean, I know bringing the guy across the river probably got units round about him anyway, so that's... But, yeah, I kind of a wee bit kicking myself there. I mean, whether, though, it's still slowing the process down, because I feel like my last impulse of the turn, unless I see danger beforehand, is probably going to be moving this unit into Kharkov, if I can still do it. So, but then that holds on to the end of the turn. You know, we're holding on to that to the end of the turn. Their first impulse with Popov means that they're probably going to take the... Well, somebody's going to take the town anyway. Right, anyway, Grant, we're over an hour here and we just want to get on with attacks just now, so there's nothing you can do about this guy just now. So, 21 to 6, 12, 18, yeah, 3 to 1. So that's a go. We don't need to count up any numbers. It is going to happen. I'm going to bring the card down here a little bit. And yeah, like I say, no reserves. Artillery in the auxiliary box. Right, okay. Right, so what odds do we actually have? We have 21 to 4, which is 5 to 1. Yeah, it's going to have to get lucky, I think. 24. Right, well, actually, we're attacking. Let's get these guys tilted in the right place. Oh, and before I turn this guy, John thinks that's a pretty good idea, and he might borrow that idea. Right, John, yeah, feel free, mate, feel free. No copyrights or anything. Well, at least I hope you didn't have the copyrights to that. I mean, or maybe we're getting sued. Okay, so they're all attacking 21 to 4 as 5 to 1. Now, combat chip pools, well, he's... Remember that 69th Army unit? That's 1, 2, 3, because he's a 3-stepper. 4, and then 5, 6, and then R2 for this guy is 8. So 8 chip pools. 5 to 1 odds. Now that is not overwhelming still, is it? Let me get my combat bit out. No, you need 8 to 1, or you would need 6 to 1 with large attack. So we're not quite there. So he is going to... Well, he's going to draw a combat tactic, so it could be that he doesn't get around to using the auxiliary card, which is artillery. So, well, we're at that step now, aren't we? Draw a card. Yeah, let's do it. Now, we're running out of cards now. Okay. Tank brigade and assault coordination. Well, I'll tell you what. Probably a good result drawing that card, isn't it? Because that was activating third tank. Was that? Yeah, turns 2 and 3. So that was going to activate third tank again. So I think I'm happy to see that coming out now. Although it's going to be more pain for this guy, and I've got a feeling we're now not going to use the auxiliary card. I think that's going to... Well, no, maybe not. No, it was 21 to 4. 24 to 4, 6 to 1. No, it's only going to boost it by 2, isn't it? Oh, no, you know what? It's going to assault coordinate that 69th Army unit in. Damn it. Right, let's get... Well, tank brigade's there first, so let's get tank brigade sorted first. So increase Soviet combat strength by 2 when attacking. So they were 21, they're now 23 to 4. So it's still 5 to 1. 23, okay, just remember that, Grant. They're considered to have armour, well, they had armour anyway. Reduce total hits incurred by the Soviets in the combat by 1 when attacking. So they're going to reduce a hit to themselves. And then assault coordination. All non-active Soviet units adjacent to defenders' hex participate in the attack. Yeah, I just wondered if it might... Well, they are from the same front anyway, aren't they? No, they're not, actually. No. I just wondered if it might have been from the front. I didn't think it was. Like, it's good. Disperse and isolated units and units that have already attacked. Units that participate via AC can't advance after combat. If no units are added, add 2 combat jet rolls for this tactic instead of 1 and reduce attacker hits by 1. So he is only adding one unit, and it's this 2 strength unit underneath. So remember that 23 strength that we had. Well, we've now got 25. So that is going to up the odds to the overwhelming attack, isn't it? Oops. So make sure we see that guy underneath. So that's 25. 25 to 4 is 6 to 1. Now, also the chip pools are going up. 1 for that unit and 2 for the... So another 3. So it's up to 11 chip pools. So now we are at overwhelming attack, aren't we? Because we go 6 to 1 and a large attack. So we're not going to play this card, unfortunately. So that's going to sit there in the auxiliary card box. So we're going to have a 40th Army activation after this. After this attack, which doesn't look good at all, does it? 6 to 1 odds, 11 chip pools. They get to reduce a hit to themselves. That's all that's happening. The assault coordination bit did happen, so it doesn't need the... Yeah, it says if no units are added via assault coordination. Well, 1 was, so we can ignore that part, which would have reduced another hit to them. So, whether that's really relevant or not, though. Okay, we have the option to play a combat tactic. Well, that pull out that I might have had before on that guy to save him from this is gone. So I have air power or artillery. I don't feel like it's worth trying either. I mean, they haven't played air power or artillery, so it might be beneficial. I mean, the artillery is on the core rouse card. It's going to allow me to deploy 2 reserves, and I think I've just got to, yeah, just hope for the best here. 11 chip pools, I mean, come on. Maybe there is a temptation to play artillery. I mean, do we really need the 2 rouse units out this turn? You know? I got a reply back about my 2 stupid questions for the day, my 2 daft questions. Martin was happy to see there were nice simple questions for a change. Yeah, my assumption, actually, I did mean to follow up with a bit. Where did I read it? It was in the deployment bit, was it not? Give me a sec to find it. Yeah, page 12, German reserves, 7.1, deploying German reserves, and we were talking about tactical reserve deployment. It's got a lot of restrictions, but the bottom paragraph is, within these restrictions, place the unit within 3 hexes of a unit in the same core. And my question obviously was, we can't place it within 3 of that unit, which is the core rouse unit, the only core rouse unit we've got on the map. If this is not possible, then place the unit within 3 hexes of a unit in the same army. So what I was trying to say was, are these units considered, which I don't think they are, because it it definitely says that they're only core rights are only considered part of 4th Panzer Army when it's a command that's activating, when it's doing something with them. So, and then it says that if neither is possible, the reserve unit can't be placed via tactical reserve deployment. Now, I didn't read that bit out, but I had read it myself, and I thought, well, that kind of tells you that it's more than likely you're not going to be able to deploy them with that. And yeah, true enough, Martin came back and says, yeah, you assumed correctly that you can't deploy them with that, so you would have to deploy them with a strategic reserve deployment. And my other question was movement method 12, wasn't it? The fact there was no preferences to what do you do? Do you just go to tiebreakers? And Martin's come back, yeah, saying 9.21, then 9.24, then 9.25. So you just use the general tiebreakers. I did ask him back, saying, do you not think it's a bit strange that there's not preferences to that at all? And he says, well, not really. The preferences are in the tiebreakers. But I followed that up with the fact it's called strength and potential attack. Kind of makes you think that there might have been a sort of preference to say go to the weakest unit or go to the strongest unit or something like that, or how much, you know, it could be you're moving to a unit that's adjacent to like 3 different active units, whereas the other one's only got 1, you know, or something like that. But however, he seems to think it's fine, so we'll go with that until we hear, unless Mr. Butterfield pipes in with something different. Yeah, so considering artillery here then. Is this a silly consideration? Well, are we going to have an attack? We're not. All these units around here, the only other... This is going to be 3 against 5, isn't it? Did that guy get left there not doing anything then? Yeah, I think he moved along from somewhere, didn't he? Yeah, to get closest to his objective. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, because I'm kind of thinking, I mean, well, although here's another thought, and the reason I'm saying that, I suppose the reason that clip sort of rung a bell in my head was I asked a question about where we could deploy this. So that does mean we're going to have to deploy it 5 away from an enemy unit. And then not, if I deploy them, like say here, is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Then I wouldn't be in range reaching Kharkov, you know. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd probably put them down here somewhere because they want to come up this way. But then it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, just one short moving into Kharkov. So that kind of doesn't help, does it? Well, wait a minute. I deployed them there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 away from that third tank. I'm only going on by what's on the table just now. I think I could legally deploy them there because it's in a clear hex. Oh no. That strategic reserve deployment doesn't allow that, does it? Nah. Does it matter, Grant? Yeah, it does. It's a 1 extra hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'd have to go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, more 1 short. Whereas there, I would have been able to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's annoying. And I think Belgorod, well, if it's still there, you're going to have the same situation if you were able to deploy them across here as well, wouldn't you? 1, 2, 3. Well, hang on though, map edge hex, you can reduce that to 2. So I could actually deploy them here and be proximate to Belgorod. But is Belgorod likely to be standing still? And if it is, do we really want to put 2 other bits of cannon fodder in there? 2 other 2 strength 1 step units? Just wondering if artillery's worth a bat. Ah, you know what? I don't think so. I think even if we had played artillery and got a couple of chits, I'm not so sure it's going to make the difference here anyway. You never know though, Grant. I prefer to deploy the Rouse units, to be honest. Because once they're on the map, next turn I might be able to draw. I might draw another replacement point. No, I'll not get that one again because that's a supplemental. But I may be able to get the primary one and repair one of the units up to full strength. Then which makes it a bit better. Yeah. Okay. Let's just go with what they're giving us. We'll just suffer the consequences here. Right. So I need to make a bit more space for all these chits that are coming out, I think, Grant. So 6-1 odds, 11 chip pools. Right, are you sure? Sure you're not playing artillery? Starting to have thoughts again. Because some of the artillery chips are D-1s, aren't they? Tell you something else, they've only got 3 cards left in their draw pile now. Although they've got 1 card in the exotic card box, so that's going to be another impulse. But it could well be that they're only going to have 1 more turn, if you like, possibly. One more impulse. Well, whether it might be 2 impulses, but you know what I'm meaning. So there's that as well. I'm starting to wonder about it. I'd be kicking myself if we got 2 or 3 artillery chits. And I tell you what, the cup's full, the chits are full. There's not any set aside chits. And there's quite a few artillery chits. Right, it was on pause there a little while. Again, I was looking at the computer, and I checked back on the post, and Michael followed up with a question that's got me thinking. Yeah, I never thought about that because we do have 2 units to deploy. He was asking that if you had multiple units, obviously to deploy with Core Rouse, could the first one be deployed with tactical? With strategic deployment, and then the next one with tactical. And I'm pretty sure you can do that, Michael. So I didn't want to answer. I thought I'll leave it to Martin anyway. But yeah, because German units may be deployed via tactical or strategic at your option. Yeah, I don't see there being a problem with that. However, Martin's been answering the question, so I'll let him confirm it. But that actually, the timing of that thought is something that, because then I would be able to deploy 1 unit. I'd be able to deploy 1 unit down here somewhere. Sorry, I mean, say here. That doesn't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'd be able to deploy 1 unit there, and then I could deploy the next one adjacent to him, and he'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. He'd have the movement to get into Kharkov. And the good thing about that is he's 1 step, and if I did, I could still bring this guy, because these are 3 steppers, but I could still bring. Oh no, I couldn't. Why you get your counting right, Grant? 3 and 3 is 6. Plus 1 7. Right, well that doesn't work then. I guess I'm thinking it was a 2-step and 3 plus 1 plus 2, but I've just said they're both 3 steps. Okay, so that was me about to say, well, I definitely won't play the artillery. Now I'm back to thinking about it again. Right, no, I'm not going to do it. We're just going to take what's given and hope for the best, right? Okay, definitely. Final answer. Right, 6-1, 11 chip pools. Here they come. Okay, that's a good start for us. It was 91 in the front, less than 41 in the back, so not happening. That one does apply. 1 hit each though. Flank attack, yes, it does apply. Well, that's what we could have had, and it was well, they didn't play artillery anyway. It was an A1 though, so if it had been a D-1, I'd be kicking myself right now, I think. But then again, we've still got 7 chits to come. Another low odds hit. I mean, okay, it's a hit to him as well, but that's us sitting at D3. Yeah, we need a little help. We need some woods or defender adjacent chats, I think, or it's going to be curtains, I think. Right, 5 to go. 6 to go. Sorry. Yeah, not what we're looking for. So 5 to go now. Okay, there we go. That's something that lasts. Defender adjacent. There is indeed. So we get a hit off the art. We probably could do another one, I think. 4 to go. Artillery again. It's another A1 though, but it's like looking on that, I thought, oh, if that's a D-1, I'm really going to be kicking myself. But it might have ended up being quite a few hits to themselves. Or in fact, they might have been dispersing because, yeah, there's only 3 cards left in the deck, so yeah, they might have just took the one hit. And although they would have been sitting at 4 hits there. Are they getting to reduce any? I think they are, aren't they? Tank brigade, isn't it? Right, what we got? 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 3 to go. Oof, that hurts. 6 to 1 on the money. 2 hits. Yeah, I think that's probably his end, I think. So 3, 6, 9, 2 to come. Combat engineer, no, wasn't played. Dispersant supplied in the back, so 1 more to come. Well, I'm really going to be kicking myself if it does matter. I'm not so sure it does, but 3 artillery chits. So there you go. That is 3, 6, 9, 11. Yeah, 11 chits, 6 to 1. Just looking at all the checks. Flank attack does apply. It's not in a town. No woods chits there to help us out. And the attack was coming from 3 hexes. Yeah, defender adjacent was the only one we got, and of course we would have got another one if it had been defender artillery. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. D6 minus 1, isn't it? So it's D5 and A2. Okay, D5 and A2, and I'm just going to let the 3 chits linger there a little, just to see, well, what could have been. Well, let's see. So it would have been D4, wouldn't it? D4 and A4. I've not got. That's what it would have been if I'd played the artillery. So, right. So D5. Now, what their tank brigade, I think, was just reducing the hit to them, wasn't it? Reduced total hits incurred by the Soviets in the combat by 1 when attacking or defending. So let's just take care of that one now. And so they're only going to take 1 hit. So in actual fact, that would have only been 3 hits for them. And then we'll just get rid of this card. I mean, that was a good thing about this attack. We've got rid of this card, no 3rd tank activation with it. So that's one good thing about it. Right, first hit to us would have removed the IP, taking that down to 4. Or if we'd played the artillery, down to 3. That's right, yeah. Yeah, I don't need these chits anymore, do I? So that's what could have been, and that's what is happening. Yeah, and yeah, that's enough to kill us, isn't it? Damn it. Retreat, step loss. We'd played artillery, we'd still been alive. Damn. Yeah. Retreat, step loss. Or if I'd played it that way, retreat, step loss. That's what it would have been like. Yeah, that was the wrong call this time. That guy could have been alive in the woods there, maybe. He could, well, to be honest, he could have been adjacent here, but I think the fact that we probably know we're going to move that guy, it wouldn't really matter. But you know what? He's not alive. He's in the dead pool. As a one-stepper to maybe come back. So Soviets have one hit to take. They have to take it. They're going to take it on the most steps. So at least there is that. This guy's going to take the hit. He's got the most steps and he's the highest selector number between 1 and 2, obviously. So what one is that? 25. So it's pretty good to have got rid of that. But I would have, there is a chance, to be honest, that again, if it was artillery was played, that would now be sitting at 2 more hits for them to take. Yeah, curious. Quick look. So it depends on the amount of steps. And it's attacker steps, so it would have included that guy. So that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They might have took these hits. 11 steps, 10 plus. Hits remaining after first step losses 2. They would have took them. They would have took their hits as well. So this guy would have got reduced, and we would have, I think, reduced the 69th Army unit in the bottom. So we made the wrong call there, but again, it's a draw of chats. How can you decide? But it definitely feels like that would be more worthy than keeping that core Rouse unit to deploy these 2 one-step reserves. So we'd had their unit here, dispersed in the woods. They would have had 2 extra hits on them. Okay, Grant, don't cry over that. Just go on that. Right, advance after combat then. Now, the 69th Army unit in the bottom cannot advance, but there's plenty of others that can. So, Unit 1, it's not in any arrows. It is across the river. Yeah, I need to remember it's across the river too, Grant. He'll not be advancing a second hex if he does. So, VP hex, no. Primary direction, hex enabling supply, no. Across the river and coastal objective, well, it's actually not. It's going to be the same distance, isn't it? So no. Secondary direction, no. So causes surround, no. Closer to objective, no. Attacked hex, yes. So he will advance in a 1 to 7. Rolled a 3. Yeah, he's in there, unfortunately. Actually, there's maybe not a second hex for them yet. Well, he could advance here, because remember, no path of retreat, so he can't advance into there. But he's advanced across the Donets, so oh, that's only when deviating from the path of retreat. Is it? Did I read that right? In the player aid it says that. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm not quite sure what's right there then, because the rule on page 40, 12.82, advancing across Donets and Dnieper River. A unit may advance across an unbridged Donets or Dnieper hex side only if it attacked across that hex side or is following the path of retreat, full stop. A unit advancing across an unbridged Donet or Dnieper hex side must stop in the hex across the river, even if the unit is mechanised and has advanced only 1 hex. Right, I don't know what you're missing now, Grant. I think you're reading something the wrong way. So 2 hex advance, it says 2 hex advance. I'm looking at the player aid here. Hang on. Yeah, it doesn't talk about the river there, because it talks about it in the second and the next rule. 12.81 is 2 hex advance, and 12.82 advancing across Donets and Dnieper. But in the player aid it says 2 hex advance by mechanised units allowed if defending units retreat 2 hexes or are eliminated. First hex entered must be attacked hex. If unit didn't cross unbridged Donets or Dnieper hex side to advance into first hex, it may advance a second hex. Okay, that tells you there then, Grant, no? Second hex entered may be any hex adjacent to attacked hex. When deviating from path from retreat path. Advancing unit can't advance from zone of control to zone of control and can't cross unbridged donut. Ah, okay, right. So this could be my, yeah. Say for instance, well, let's look at this guy. He could advance into here, and then he could advance a second hex into here if he was following the path of retreat. And there's no path of retreat, so he wouldn't. Well, he's also going from zone of control to zone of control. That wouldn't be allowed either. Right, okay, it is all there. It is all intact and proper, and just shut up, Grant. Okay. So unit 1 is in there, that's good. Now he's unit 12 now. Yeah, he's still the next in line. Yep. So unit 12, no arrows into there as well. So it is going to come. Oh no, wait now. He's not crossing the river, no. He is getting closer to his objective, but I think hex enabling supply across the river and closer to objective. That's a sort of priority. That's not what he's doing. He is getting closer, but so the next one is attack tech closer. There's a unit already in there, so he's only going to go on a 1 to 3, and that's unit 12. He rolls a 10, so he's not going. Right, unit 16 would be next. Is that? Yeah, 1 to 3. He rolls a 10 as well. So I'll just put these guys back. Bearing in mind that 69th Army unit can't advance anyway, remember. 20. Now that's following his primary, so that's a better chance. That is a unit already advanced. It's a 1 to 6. He's rolled an 8 though. So yeah, they've got the main unit in there though, to be honest. 23 and whatever this one is, 26. Right, that's advanced. Well, it's the same as that, isn't it? So again, it's a 1 to 3 roll. That's a 9, and then 26, the unit underneath is a 7. So only that unit 1 advanced after combat, and he was not able to make a second hex advance because he'd crossed the donuts anyway. But I mean, he wouldn't have been able to go that way, so. Well, they never came across. Well, this one was already across the river, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Right, that's that attack done. So, and then, well, that's pretty much impulse over, isn't it? Apart from the fact we've got another impulse for them. This guy would be a 3 strength against 5, so not doable. I suppose with that guy going now makes me feel more comfortable about moving back into Kharkov and just giving up on Zemiev. Yeah, I think that was a mistake from the start. I think I should have abandoned that and brought the guy across the river. I think that was a blunder, but however, right, I'll say everybody moved, didn't they? Oh well, hang on. Surely he can't bounce back to reserves from being surrounded. I'm not having that. Well, he's got to be able to trade supplies, you know. Active on that unit. In supply, adjacent to Germany, removal would not cause. Right, come on, you're having a laugh here. It surely can't bounce back from there. Adjacent to German unit. Yeah, well, look, Grant, it's not stacked with another unit. It's not in a village. It's not in a VP hex. So, and it's not adjacent to 2 occupied Soviet units. So it's not bouncing back. Looks like it would have done. It doesn't need to trace supply. Yeah, right, okay. But we need to have units beside it. Or, I suppose you could have a unit stacked. It could be stacked with another unit, and then one of them would bounce back. That seems wrong. Okay, maybe there is something. Well, he can't bounce back anyway. Right, okay, I'm going to wrap this one up, because that's an hour and a half, and they do have 3 cards left in their draw pile, but we do have this still sitting in the auxiliary card box. What? I've got time, so I'm going to come straight back, but I just need to get this bit copied off and start and put this together as part... Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember where we're at. Maybe 36 maybe? 37? 36, I think. We'll find out. Okay. Right, I'll leave it at that. Be back soon, guys. Cheers.